Welcome to Session 8, Anger Management and Emotional Regulation. A DUI does not always begin with a plan to drink and drive. It may begin hours earlier with an argument, a stressful day, bad news, anxiety, embarrassment, loneliness, resentment, or feeling disrespected. The emotion creates pressure. Alcohol or any other drug may seem like a quick way to calm down, escape, become more confident, or stop thinking. After using a substance, judgment becomes less reliable, and driving may begin to feel acceptable even when it's not safe. The purpose of this session is not to say that anger or anxiety is bad. Every person experiences strong emotions. Anger can signal that something feels unfair, threatening, blocked, or disrespectful. Anxiety can signal uncertainty or danger. Sadness may signal loss. Shame may signal that we believe we failed or disappointed someone. Emotions provide information, but they do not have to control behavior. A useful principle is this: emotions are real, but emotions are not commands. Feeling angry does not require yelling. Feeling anxious does not require drinking. Feeling embarrassed does not require leaving in a car after using alcohol. An urge can be strong without being an instruction that must be followed. Anger is also different from aggression. Anger is an internal feeling. Aggression is behavior intended to threaten, hurt, intimidate, or damage. A person can feel intense anger and still choose a safe response. The goal is not to eliminate anger. The goal is to notice it sooner, understand what is happening, and choose behavior that protects your freedom, relationships, health, and future. Accountability and self-respect can exist at the same time. Accountability says, my choices had consequences, and I am responsible for changing the pattern. Self-respect says, I'm capable of learning and practicing a better response. Consider how an emotional event can become a driving risk. A person receives a critical text after a difficult day. The event is the message. The person interprets it, they do not respect me. Nobody appreciates me, or I am done dealing with this. The body reacts. The heart rate rises, muscles tighten, and the person begins pacing. Anger may be mixed with hurt, fear, rejection, or shame. Next comes an urge. The urge may be to send an aggressive reply, start an argument, drink, use a drug, leave the house, or prove a point. Alcohol may temporarily reduce anxiety or inhibition, but it also reduces judgment and self-control. It may intensify the argument, increase impulsive behavior, and make driving seem less risky than it is. The chain can be written this way: triggering event, interpretation, body reaction, emotion, urge, substance decision, impaired judgment, driving decision, and consequences. The chain can happen quickly, but it contains several interruption points. You may not control the original event, but you can learn to notice the interpretation, body signals, emotional intensity, urge, access to alcohol, access to keys, and transportation decision. This is why emotional regulation is a DUI prevention skill. It is not only about feeling calmer, it is about keeping a temporary emotional state from creating a permanent consequence. Common emotional pathways into risky substance use include escape, I do not want to feel like this. Permission, after the day I had, I deserve to drink. Retaliation, I will do what I want because they made me angry. Hopelessness, nothing matters anyway. Social pressure, I do not want to look weak. And urgency, I need relief right now. A coping skill creates enough time and distance for safer judgment to return. We're at a pause point. Pause the video and complete worksheet sections 1 and 2. Emotional triggers and my trigger chain. Strong emotions usually give warning signs before behavior becomes unsafe. People sometimes say they went from 0 to 100. It may feel that fast, but the body and mind often show smaller signals during the buildup. Learning those signals give you more choices. Physical warning signs include a faster heartbeat, hot face, tight chest, clenched jaw, tense shoulders, shallow breathing, shaking, sweating, stomach discomfort, headache, or restlessness. These signals are information that the nervous system is becoming activated. Behavioral warning signs include pacing, talking louder, interrupting, driving faster, gripping the steering wheel, slamming doors, repeatedly checking a phone, sending rapid messages, becoming sarcastic, leaving without explaining, or reaching for alcohol. Emotional warning signs include anger, irritation, fear, hurt, jealousy, guilt, rejection, humiliation, loneliness, disappointment, or hopelessness. Anger may be the easiest emotion to notice, while a more vulnerable feeling is underneath it. Thought-based warning signs include statements such as, "They always do this," "Nobody talks to me that way," "I will show them," "I cannot handle this," "I need a drink," "I am fine to drive," or "It is only a few miles." Some thoughts heat up anger. Others give permission to use substances or drive. The earlier you recognize your pattern, the easier it is to intervene. Waiting until you are at the highest level of anger or intoxication makes safe decision making much harder. The 1 to 10 emotion meter. A simple way to monitor escalation is to rate emotional intensity from 1 to 10. A 1 means calm or nearly calm. A 10 means you feel close to losing control or creating serious consequences. The exact number is personal. What matters is knowing what your levels look like. At levels 1 through 3, you can generally think clearly. This is the time for prevention. Eat, rest, exercise, talk through concerns, plan transportation, and avoid unnecessary risk. At levels 4 through 6, the emotion is building. You may notice tension, faster speech, repetitive thoughts, or an urge to drink. This is the best time to use a coping skill. Ask for space, move away from alcohol, hand over keys, or call a support person. At levels 7 through 8, judgment is narrowing. You may feel certain that your interpretation is correct and that immediate action is necessary. Do not continue an argument or make a driving decision. Take a structured timeout. Separate from alcohol and the vehicle and use a safe ride plan. At levels 9 through 10, safety becomes the priority. Do not drive. Do not continue a heated confrontation. Move away from weapons or objects that could be used impulsively. Contact a trusted person or emergency support if anyone is in danger. Your plan should begin before you reach this level, because the lower you are on the scale when you act, the more options you have. We're at a pause point. Pause the video and complete worksheet section 3 and 4, warning signs and my emotion meter. Looking underneath anger. Anger often appears on the outside while another emotion is underneath. Hurt, fear, shame, rejection, grief, jealousy, Loneliness, disappointment, exhaustion, or powerlessness may be part of the same experience. Recognizing what is underneath does not excuse unsafe behavior. It gives you more accurate information about what needs attention. If the deeper feeling is rejection, the need may be reassurance, connection, or a clear boundary. If the deeper feeling is fear about money or legal problems, the need may be information, support, or a step-by-step plan. If the deeper feeling is shame, the need may be accountability without self-destruction. Alcohol and drugs may temporarily numb these feelings, but they do not solve the underlying problem and often create additional consequences. A useful question is, what else am I feeling besides anger? And what responsible action would address that need? The answer may be to request time, ask for clarification, call someone supportive, write down a plan, apologize, set a boundary, or return to the issue when calm and sober. The reset skill. We will now learn a 5-step skill called reset. The letters stand for rate, exit, slow, examine, and take a safe step. R means rate the emotion. Ask, what am I feeling and how strong is it from 1 to 10? Be specific. Instead of only saying angry, you might identify anger at 7, hurt at 6, and anxiety at 5. Naming and rating turns an automatic reaction into something you can observe. E means exit. Exit the immediate risk. This may mean stepping away from an argument, moving away from alcohol, placing keys in a secure location, leaving the room, ending a phone call respectfully, or changing seats so you are not near the driver's position. Exit does not mean escaping through alcohol or driving. It means creating safe distance from the trigger and from dangerous options. S means slow. Slow the body. Emotional arousal affects breathing, heart rate, and muscle tension. Try breathing in gently for 4 seconds and out for 6. Repeat several times. The longer exhale helps signal the body that it does not need to stay at full alert. Unclench your jaw, lower your shoulders, and put both feet on the floor. E means examine. Examine the thought. Ask, what am I telling myself? What facts support this thought? What facts do not? Is there another explanation? What will happen if I act on this urge? What response will I respect tomorrow? The goal is not to pretend everything is fine. The goal is to replace extreme or permission-giving thoughts with something more accurate. T means take a safe step. A safe step is specific and immediate. Examples include calling a support person, requesting a ride, giving someone the keys, drinking water, eating, taking a walk in a safe place, writing down the problem, delaying the conversation, or making a plan for the next morning. Imagine receiving a message that makes you feel rejected. You rate anger at 7 and hurt at 8. You exit by not responding immediately and placing your keys away from you. You slow your breathing. You examine the thought, nobody cares about me, and replace it with, I feel rejected right now. But one painful message does not define every relationship. You take a safe step by calling a trusted person and staying home without drinking. That is a reset in action. Reset becomes more useful through repetition. Practice it during smaller frustrations so it is available during a major trigger. We're at a pause point. Pause the video and complete worksheet section 5. Practice reset. Using a timeout correctly. A timeout means stopping participation in an escalating situation and creating enough distance to regain control. It is not permission to drink, drive, threaten, disappear for days, or avoid every difficult conversation. An effective timeout has 5 parts. Notice escalation early, state that you are taking a timeout, give a reasonable time to reconnect, use the break for regulation rather than substance use or rumination, and return or schedule as promised, unless doing so would be unsafe. During the timeout, do not replay the argument in a way that keeps anger rising. Do not send hostile messages. Do not drive around to cool off after drinking. Do not go to the bar. Use the break for breathing, walking, support, contact, food, rest, journaling, or safe transportation. A respectful timeout statement may sound like this: I want to work this out, but I am at a 7 and I am not communicating well. I am taking a 30-minute break. I am leaving my keys here because I have been drinking. I will call you at 9. This statement identifies the problem, reduces immediate risk, and communicates an intention to return. Conflict can trigger substance use and unsafe driving. People often respond passive aggressively, or assertively. A passive response hides needs and may build resentment. An aggressive response insults, threatens, or attempts to control. A passive-aggressive response communicates anger indirectly through sarcasm, silence, delay, or intentional non-cooperation. An assertive response is clear, direct, respectful, and responsible. Assertiveness does not guarantee agreement. It allows you to express the issue without adding threats, insults, or avoidance. A useful formula is, when this happens, I feel this. The impact is this. I am asking for this. I am willing to do this. For example, when plans change and I am not told, I feel frustrated and unimportant. The impact is that I become angry and want to leave. I am asking you to text me when plans change. I am willing to respond without accusing you. Assertiveness is especially important when someone offers alcohol or pressure you to drive. A direct response may be, no, I have been drinking and I am not driving. My car is staying here. I am arranging a safe ride. You do not need a long defense. A clear boundary is enough. We're at a pause point. Pause the video and complete worksheet section 6. Timeout and assertive communication. Practice scenario 1. Conflict before leaving. Imagine that you plan to meet friends. Before leaving, someone close to you says you never think about anyone but yourself. Your face becomes hot and your chest tightens. Alcohol's in the house and your car is outside. The other person says, go ahead and leave. That is what you always do. A safe response should identify the emotional level, avoid insults, create distance from alcohol and the vehicle, and communicate a plan. One model response is, I am at about a 7, and I am too angry to have this conversation well. I notice that I want to drink and leave. I am taking a 30-minute timeout. I am putting my keys on the counter and telling my friend I will be late. I will come back at 8 and listen to what you are trying to tell me. This works because the person names the intensity, recognizes the substance use urge, removes access to the vehicle, gives a return time, and does not attack the other person. Practice scenario 2, pressure to drive. Imagine that you are at a gathering. You have been upset about work and have consumed alcohol. A friend says, you are fine. It is only 10 minutes away. Drive us home. You feel embarrassed and do not want to look weak. Your friend adds, I have seen you drive after more than this. A safe response is brief and not open to debate. No, I have been drinking and I am not driving. I do not need to prove anything. I am ordering a ride now, and my car will stay here. You can ride with me or arrange another safe ride. The response does not minimize impairment. It sets a firm boundary, protects the keys and vehicle, and provides a safe option. Emotional pressure from another person does not change the fact that driving after drinking is unsafe. We're at a pause point. Pause the video and complete worksheet section 7, 2 practice scenarios. Building a practical coping toolbox. Emotional regulation is more reliable when you have several coping tools instead of depending on one. A breathing exercise may work during mild frustration, while a major conflict may require a timeout, a support person, and complete separation from alcohol and keys. Your coping toolbox should include body-based tools, thought-based tools, connection tools, problem-solving tools, and transportation safeguards. Body-based tools reduce physical activation. These include slow breathing, relaxing the jaw and shoulders, taking a brisk walk in a safe location, stretching, washing your face with cool water, eating if you have not eaten, drinking water, and getting appropriate sleep. These actions do not solve the original problem, but they lower the intensity enough to make better decisions. When the body is at a 7 or 8, trying to argue your way into calm usually does not work. First, calm the body, then return to problem solving. Thought-based tools help you respond to the story your mind is creating. Strong emotions often produce all or nothing statements such as, "This always happens," "Nobody respects me," or "I have to deal with this right now." A balanced response may be, "This is upsetting, but I do not know every fact yet. I can set a boundary without making the situation worse, or I can delay this decision until I am calm and sober." Balanced thinking is not weakness. It is a way to protect yourself from acting on incomplete information. Connection tools involve another person. Isolation can make anger, shame, and anxiety grow. A support person can listen, help you reality check a thought, hold your keys, arrange transportation, or stay with you until the urge decreases. Choose people who support safe behavior rather than people who encourage drinking. Retaliation or driving. A useful support can be simple. I am at a 7, I want to drink and leave. I need help staying away from my keys for the next hour. Problem-solving tools are used after the intensity has decreased. Write the problem in one sentence. Separate what must happen tonight from what can wait until tomorrow. Identify one next step, such as making a phone call, reviewing paperwork, setting an appointment, apologizing, or asking for clarification. Emotional urgency often says that everything must be fixed immediately. In reality, many problems are handled more safely through one planned step at a time. Transportation safeguards should be decided before drinking begins or before a high-risk event. Examples include using a rideshare or taxi, selecting a sober driver, staying overnight, arranging pickup with a trusted person, leaving the vehicle at the location, placing keys in a lockbox, or giving keys to someone who will not return them. The safest plan does not depend on deciding later whether you feel impaired. Alcohol affects the ability to judge impairment, so the transportation decision should be made while sober. It is also important to plan for setbacks. A setback might mean you become more emotionally escalated than intended. Drink after planning not to, or came close to driving. A setback is not a reason to give up. It is a signal to stop the chain immediately. Do not add a driving consequence to an already difficult moment. Contact support, secure the keys, arrange a ride, and review the event later. Ask what warning sign was missed and what barrier made the plan hard to follow. Then strengthen the plan. Finally, practice repair. If anger led to hurtful words or damaged trust, repair should occur when everyone is calm and sober. A responsible repair statement identifies the behavior without excuses, recognizes the impact, and explains the change you will make. For example, I raised my voice and left after drinking. That was unsafe and put you in a difficult position. Next time, I will call a timeout, give you my keys, and arrange a ride. Repair does not erase consequences. but it demonstrates accountability and helps build a safer pattern. Building your prevention plan. A strong prevention plan is made before the next emotional crisis. Begin with the warning signs that show you are moving above a 4 or 5. Identify high-risk combinations such as conflict plus alcohol in the home, legal stress plus shame, a breakup plus access to a vehicle, or social pressure plus the need to prove you are fine. Choose actions for different levels. At a 4, you might eat, breathe, or call someone. At a 6, you might take a time out, leave the keys with another person, or move away from alcohol. At a 7 or higher, you should not drive. Continue the argument or make major decisions. Arrange transportation and remain with safe support until the intensity decreases. Your plan should include at least 2 safe transportation options, 1 person you can contact, a method for separating yourself from keys, and a statement you can use when pressured to drive. Planning reduces the number of decisions you must make while emotional or impaired. Also plan for the next day. Emotional regulation does not mean ignoring real problems. It means handling them when you are sober and capable of thinking clearly. Write down the first responsible step, such as making a phone call, apologizing, scheduling an appointment, reviewing a bill, or setting a boundary. Today's central message is that emotions are signals, not commands. Anger, anxiety, shame, loneliness, and frustration can increase the urge to drink or use drugs. Substance use can then weaken judgment, increase impulsivity, and make unsafe driving feel reasonable. You learn to recognize physical, behavioral, emotional, and thought-based warning signs. You learn to rate emotional intensity from 1 to 10 and to act before reaching crisis level. You practice reset. Rate, exit, slow, examine, and take a safe step. You learn how to use a responsible timeout and communicate assertively. Progress does not require perfect control of every emotion. It requires earlier awareness and safer action. Each time you interrupt the chain by delaying a response, moving away from alcohol, handing over keys, calling for support, or arranging a ride, you strengthen a new pattern. Complete the final prevention plan and commitment statement on the worksheet. The goal is to leave this session with a plan that can be used during a real emotional trigger, not only understood in theory. We're at the final pause point. Complete worksheet section 8, My Emotional and Impaired Driving Prevention Plan.